build the standing structures in that place. And the ones put there by some successive governments. If we don't spend on education, we are going to get into problem. During Governor Ajimobi's regime, during Governor Laja's regime, no child dare walk on the streets by 10 o'clock in the morning. You just must go to school. And that we have to bring back. If you go to most of these roads today, as soon as there is a traffic light that stops you, you see a lot of small children. And this is not good for us. We are bringing trouble for the future. Babalawo said, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá kọ́ ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n kàwé, okun ló fi máa ń lé ọmọ tí ń kà kí ń kọ́ padà. They don't allow them to rest. These are things that, and today, in the tertiary institutions, apart from that, they just give them a purchase form to pay salaries, an amount that is not enough to pay salaries for the schools. And you take all the money that they make. We don't allow them to have anything like everything that we call, whether it's charity, take it. Government is supposed to give them sufficient monthly subventions that will be enough to pay their salaries and do some other things. You can then look at what they make and now direct how they do it, how they deploy it. But if you don't give them money, when you go to so many of the lecture theaters today, you see that they're like bigger classes. And that's why all the institutions are introducing different courses, direct, indirect, continuous, and also just to make money. And we are churning out half-baked graduates. This is not good for us. And we're going to put a structure like this. And I want to tell you, today, state governments are getting as allocation 3 times what they are getting 3 years. So security is not an isolated issue. One of the problems that we have today is that we don't allow our local governments to work. And that is tied to several things. The local governments are supposed to participate with the state government in the provision of education, health, and security. We know, if you look at the guidelines by which, this year is 50 years when we had the local government reforms, statutory reforms. And in the lecture I delivered recently, I highlighted some of these things. In some times past, when something like this was about to happen, the state government, because local governments were empowered to work, directed local governments to engage vigilantly and neighborhood churches. And we had them, everybody will remember, if you are going to procure, as soon as you pass money here, you see them until you get to a sign. Actually, you pay for them until you get to Ogoniba. He said you pay until it gets to the boundary with Kashmir and the boundary with Kajola. Kajola will take it to the boundary of Iwajowa, and Iwajowa will take it to Ayemi, which is the border. And from Teswaje, you go to Atisbo, Shaki West. And if you are coming from here to Ibarapa, as soon as you will pay from Igbo Township to Blue Valley, and Ibarapa Central will take it from there to the boundary of Ibarapa Central. Ibarapa Central will take it to Ibarapa. Ibarapa will take it to say you want to do. So these are things like that. We are going to get to things. Only are we providing security, we also get. Some people will be gainfully employed. But when local governments are not able to function again, they disengage all of them. And we are having problems. 2, a government must have a listening ear. It must be a government that listens to people. In 2022, Honorable Banbury of the 10 of the Electrical Society cried out, brought a motion, saying that there are strange faces. He particularly mentioned Yawata. That there are strange faces here. Government did not eat. And that same community was where these children were kidnapped. Who is at fault? And what are we going to do? I will tell you. Apart from allowing local governments to engage people, we are going to have neighborhood watches. Yorùbá say, tí ọba sí máa ra ayé, àlejò lè mọ sàárè àfọ̀dá. If there is a young man in the area, he goes out in the evening with an empty bag and comes back home with a broken bag. After 1 or 2 weeks, some people will notice and complain. We'll say something that it happens in the outside world. And look fully because they look out and see. When you go to Bodija in those days, Bodija, they have a group. They know so much about each other without talking to each other. It is because they are observant. It is the job of all of us. But government must take the bull by the horn and have the political will to ensure that this is going to happen. Today, we thank God. The National Assembly has passed the state police into law, waiting for the assent of Mr. President. We are going to ensure that we use this along with other security apparatus that we have to be able to ensure that we are protected properly in the state. We have a lot of our young men out there. They can be engaged. We also deploy technology to be able to have drones. We also have cameras scattered into around the city and the hotspots where we have there that will be remotely controlled from the headquarters, whether here, the state headquarters or the local government headquarters, where we have a rapid response to any action that is required. In case there is need for anything, there will be rapid response. As the chairman of the Rural Investments, we tried to do something, but unfortunately it didn't work at that time. And we have it in Kenya. Some people have watched it before. We were going to put just a pole inside this place that will have cameras scattered around the body. And you have about 120 screens. You have 5-10 people will be there for 24 hours. They'll be running shifts. Who will be able to see if there's anything anywhere and they call them, they will tell them, assuming there's a robbery and the guy is moving from Yakanku towards Akpata, they will be informing the police it is going towards the ones that they catch. If anybody still do anything like today in US, within 24 hours, within hours they will get the person. And how do you do it? They'll be able to tell the police he's going towards Akpata, so the secret man in Akpata will be at alert waiting for him. If he decides to go to Ring Road, the ones in challenge will get him. So like that. Aside from this, there's one thing that we all have to do. As soon as we get to government, by the grace of God, we are going to have a registration of all Oyo State residents. We have last time news. We are going to have such an agency where we register everybody for our fingerprints and our registers, all the time. So these things will not be true because of that. Thank you.